I thought maybe we had hit bottom last week in terms of the tone of the presidential campaign, charges of racism and bigotry flying back and forth between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. But now there's this new media debate about Donald Trump's mental health, and it was kicked off not by some bozo blogger, but by President Obama's former campaign manager. Take a look.
Basically, we have a psychopath running for president. I mean, he meets the clinical definition, okay?
So there's David Plouffe on Meet the Press calling Donald Trump a psychopath, and Chuck Todd, to his credit, pushed back and said, I don't know if that's fair to engage in that kind of on-air diagnosis. Do you have any kind of degree? And of course, Plouffe said that he didn't have a degree in psychology, but he doubled down, grandiose notion of self-worth, pathological lying, lack of empathy and remorse. So this, of course, made huge news everywhere, and all the headlines are very straightforward. Ex-Obama aide calls Trump psychopath. What I didn't see was anybody writing a piece saying, gee, did the former top aide to the President of the United States go too far in saying this? And is Hillary Clinton going to distance herself from that kind of language? Because presumably Plouffe was on as a kind of a surrogate for the Clinton campaign. And I think the reason for this is that there are no shortage of people in the news business who kind of agree with Plouffe, who think that Trump is kind of crazy. Washington Post columnist Gene Robinson wrote that using those very words. He seems to him to be flat out crazy or just plain crazy, which makes me wonder the following. How does a guy who's crazy, nuts, psychopathic, sociopathic, how did he beat 16 Republican governors, senators, and others to win the nomination? How is it, even though he's down in this race, he's trailing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points in a lot of these national polls, that still means that tens of millions of Americans support Donald Trump. Are they just too dumb to realize that he's crazy? Now, I know because of the Twitter wars going on here, people who hate Donald Trump, who think he is a nut job, are going to attack me and say, why can't you see this? And you're just defending Trump. I'm not defending Donald Trump here. In fact, Donald Trump sometimes gives his enemies and his detractors lots of ammunition. After the Plouffe slam, there was over the weekend this unfortunate, horrible, tragic incident where the cousin of the NBA star Dwayne Wade was gunned down, was fatally shot, and Trump did a tweet in which he said, this shows what I've been saying, African Americans will vote Trump, taking this tragedy and making it about him. Now, a lot of people would think, rightly so, that that's insensitive. Some would say it's crazy. Later, Trump did a standard tweet about thoughts and prayers are with the family. And it was interesting because on Sunday, his new campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, was asked about these tweets, and she made no attempt to defend the first Trump tweet. She just said, well, I was glad he then tweeted about what a tragedy this was for the family. So I'm all for aggressively covering, controversial or incendiary or insensitive remarks by Donald Trump or by Hillary Clinton. And there's no false equivalence here. If Trump makes more controversial comments, then those should be covered more. But at the same time, I do see the media objecting when Hillary Clinton is called names. And sometimes, a lot of people have called her a liar, certainly in reference to the email scandal and the Clinton Foundation and all of that. But psychopath, really? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. David Plouffe is obviously a partisan, but there is up to the media to apply the same standards when it comes to language and tone to both of these candidates. If that's a controversial statement, sue me, because I believe in balance. Not false balance, not false equivalence, but some semblance of balance when it comes to covering these two presidential contenders.